Is anyone here? Hello? Hello? Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay?
Welcome to the world of survival horror. Today we dive into one of the most iconic video game franchises of all time, Resident Evil. With its spine-chilling atmosphere, groundbreaking gameplay, and the legacy that has influenced countless of games and films, Resident Evil has cemented its place in gaming history. In this video, we will explore the history of Resident Evil games, the remakes, the platforms it graced, its impact on the gaming industry, the films it inspired, and of course, the best and worst entries in the series. Resident Evil, known as Biohazard in Japan, was first released by Capcom in 1996. Directed by Shinji Mikami, the game introduced players to a ground of elite operatives known as STARS. As they investigate the mysteries happening in the Spencer's mansion, it was one of the first games to define the survival horror genre, combining limited resources, puzzles, and a tense atmosphere. The success of the original led to numerous sequels and spin-offs, and remakes as well. Resident Evil 2 from 1998 expanded on the story with new characters Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield as they navigate Raccoon City during the zombie outbreak. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis from 1999 focused on Jill Valentine's escape from Raccoon City while being pursued by relentless Nemesis. Resident Evil 4 from 2005 marked a significant shift in gameplay, introducing an over-the-shoulder perspective and a greater focus on action. Resident Evil 5 was released in 2009. Set in Africa, the game follows Chris Redfield and Sheva as they battle the sinister Tricell Corporation and its bioorganic weapons, and also Boulder. 3 years later, in 2012, Resident Evil 6 was released on the PS3 and Xbox 360. This entry attempted to cater to all types of Resident Evil fans by offering multiple campaigns that blended horror, action, and suspense. When Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was released in 2017, it marked a dramatic shift in the iconic horror franchise. Capcom returned to the series' roots, embracing the survival horror while introducing a new perspective that revitalized the genre. Mentioned the transition from the action-heavy gameplay from Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 to the more first-person horror experience in Resident Evil 7, emphasizing how it was a breath of fresh air for fans and critics alike. Jumping ahead to 2021, Resident Evil Village, also known as Resident Evil 8, was released on the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This game is a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and continues the story of Ethan Winters as he searches for his kidnapped daughter in a mysterious village. Capcom has embraced remaking its classic titles, bringing them to a new audience with updated graphics and gameplay mechanics. Resident Evil from 2002, a complete overhaul of the original game with improved visuals, voice acting, and additional content. Resident Evil 2 from 2019, a reimagining that retained the essence of the original while introducing modern gameplay elements, widely praised for its execution. Resident Evil 3 from 2020 followed the footsteps of Resident Evil 2 Remake, but was critiqued for its shorter length and exclusion of certain content. Resident Evil 4 from 2023, a highly anticipated remake that modernized the gameplay while maintaining the core of what made the original so beloved. Resident Evil games has been released on numerous platforms over the years. The original titles were released on the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and PC. Remakes and remasters were released on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. Spin-offs have appeared on everything from handheld consoles like the Game Boy Color to mobile platforms. Resident Evil influence on the gaming industry is undeniable. It would popularize the survival horror genre, inspiring titles like Silent Hill, Dead Space, and The Last of Us. The franchise is combined of atmosphere, puzzle solving, and resource managing, becoming a blueprint for many of the horror games that followed.
You're all going to die down here.
The success of Resident Evil games led to a series of films, starting with Resident Evil in 2002, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and starring Milovich as Alice, a character created for the films. The movie series, though, was criticized for its loose adaptation of the game storyline, found commercial success, and led to a total of 6 films. A reboot, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City from 2021, attempted to stay closer to the source material. We also have the TV series that I'm not going to bother talking about. Resident Evil games have generally received positive reviews, with its particular praise for the early titles and recent remakes. Resident Evil 2 Remake is often cited as the best remake ever, praised for its faithful yet fresh take on a classic. Resident Evil 4 from 2005 is considered one of the greatest games of all time, with its influence seen in many action games that followed. However, not all entries were as successful as Resident Evil 6 2012, for an example, faced criticism for its overly action-focused gameplay and the convoluted story. The best game of the franchise, Resident Evil 4 from 2005, is often hailed as a pinnacle of the series, thanks to its immersive gameplay, memorable characters, not you Ashley, and a perfect balance of action and horror. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City from 2012 is frequently cited as the low point of the franchise, criticized for its lackluster gameplay, poor AI, and a departure from the survival horror roots. There's been about 16 games within the franchise, with many spin-offs, mobile games, and other adaptations released over the years, from the greatest to the worst. I cannot cover all of it just within this video, so each game deserves their own video, so look out for those. From its humble beginnings in the Spencer Mansion and its expansive universe of games, remakes, and films, Resident Evil remains a cornerstone of the horror genre. Its ability to evolve while retaining the core elements of fear, tension, and survival is a testament to its enduring appeal. Whether you are a veteran fan or new to the series, there's no denying the impact Resident Evil has had on the gaming world. Stay tuned for more deep dives into gaming industry's most iconic franchises.